Number one, there is a drastic reduction in underage sexual intercourse.
We have been able to step down the issue of even of any violence against women and vis-a-vis men, because at times some women could be very violent too.
Welcome to Morganable, where we serve you with authentic news, stories, documentaries, updates, and modern-style insights on our society and the larger world. And more importantly, about places that fall under the radar of the mainstream media machinery. We invite you to embark on this exciting journey of enlightenment with us. Morganable, your vehicle of enlightenment. The International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, has called on traditional rulers in Ekiti State to strengthen measures against gender-based violence by enforcing community bylaws and advancing cultural reforms that protect women and vulnerable groups. The appeal came during FIDA's second annual dialogue with 40 traditional leaders in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. Chairperson of FIDA Nigeria, Ekiti branch, Ayobami Olowoyo Richards, said the dialogue reviewed progress from earlier trainings and addressed challenges in implementing bylaws to curb violence, as most GBV cases are cultural.
Violence, as we all know that traditional leaders in our communities, they are respectable elders that whenever they are decision makers as well. So whenever any case arises in their community, they will know how to tackle it. And each community also have their bylaws which they have, submitted to us, which will continue to guide them like guidelines towards elimination of gender-based violence prevention. We noticed that from the previous activity, which was last year, we have had some people who cultivate the habit of silence. They have started, talking, speaking out, and some communities where initially they don't really know what to do when things like that occur. Now they know how to go to their traditional leaders who will now, give us feedback on whatever is going on there. If it's something they can handle, they will handle it. But if it is something to be escalated to us, it will come to us. So we want to believe that the prevention, we are getting feedbacks as per prevention. So we'll continue to train our traditional leaders on how to ensure that we mitigate gender-based violence completely in Ekiti. Basically, the majority of the forms of gender-based violence are cultural in nature. So when we look at the cultural norms such as the harmful traditional practices, female genital mutilation, widowhood, practices, harmful practices against widows. So we know that it really concerns the traditional rulers, the traditional chiefs. That's why they are here today, so that we get the feedback, because this is the second activity. We had the activity last year where we started with them with a series of trainings. So we believe that the training must have yielded positive results. So that's why they are here today to give us the feedbacks they had gotten from last year to now.
In his remarks, FIDA's senior manager, Fiki Obaro, emphasized resistance to abandoning long-standing cultural practices and urged governments sustained collaboration, stronger institutional support, and adequate funding for community-based interventions.
So my name is Fiki, Fikih, Fiki Obaro. I work with FIDA Nigeria as a Senior Manager, Programs, Partnerships and Operations. This is the second edition of the Annual Dialogue for Traditional Leaders in Ekiti State. So we have traditional leaders drawn from about 9 communities in Ekiti State coming together to discuss ways and strategies in preventing gender-based violence. And this, as the second in the series, is meant to evaluate the progress, the successes that traditional leaders have made in their respective communities in preventing gender-based violence, while also providing workable solutions and next actions in ensuring that their communities are safe against violence, and that's looking at violence against women, and girls. And communities have been engaged and have been structured to have bylaws towards preventing gender-based violence. And so this meeting basically is to look at the success, look at the progress, also evaluate the challenges and see how we can work together collectively between FIDA Nigeria and the communities and amongst the communities themselves in preventing gender-based violence through sharing lessons, sharing experiences, and also sharing workable solutions. Resistance to change. Resistance to change. And resistance to change basically is not even a community issue, it's a human issue. We humans don't like changes, and especially when the changes would make you suffer a bit, we don't like changes. And so resistance to change by community members to their community leaders is one of the major challenges that they face. And the ability to ensure that you carry your community members along when you are having a bylaw that speaks to some of these issues is necessary and is integral in the success of this program. Therefore, while traditional leaders have identified challenges such as resistance to change, resistance to not accepting the bylaws, the ability to engage their community members, be accountable, and live as examples will be a mitigating measure in ensuring that communities embrace the bylaws and ultimately they prevent gender-based violence. Well, I feel the government has done a lot and is doing a lot. Ekiti State is a model state when it comes to gender-based violence, prevention, response, service delivery. And I think it's just for the government to support organizations like FIDA Nigeria in engaging more with the communities. We cannot do it alone. Our engagements are limited with funding. However, the government, through her structures in the communities, can keep on engaging with community leaders and provide the necessary enabling environment for FIDA Nigeria and other civil society organizations to continue the fight against gender-based violence through prevention, which is our mantra of operations.
While he called on the government to establish stricter laws that protect women's rights, Chief Ajibade Olubumi of Ado-Ekiti highlighted reforms in his community, including ending harmful widowhood practices, granting women inheritance rights, and including female chiefs in decision-making.
Well, hi Chief Ajibade Olubumi from Ado-Ekiti. In our community, we take the issue of GBV very, very serious. We have been able to step down the issue of even of any violence against women and vis-a-vis men, because at times some women could be very violent too. Then this issue of widows' inheritance, we have made sure that nobody could lead any widow to perform any sacrifice that will endanger her life. Women can now inherit their father's properties. And men too give women respect. The issue of genital mutilation is down in Ado-Ekiti. And the issue of women not be given opportunity to speak on the policies of the town is gone, because we have female chiefs who cooperate with the Alawe and council to take decisions. We will also make sure that women participate in traditional religion, things that were not happening before. So generally, women in Ado-Ekiti, they are enjoying what I can call freedom. They participate in politics. Many of them are in politics. Many of them are in high places. Even both boys and girls in secondary schools now, there's no discrimination. They love themselves and they play together. The policy that I think the state government should really bring up is they should do a sort of adequate funding. Because if not because some people are being funded from outside the country, the state government should, the funding is not adequate. Government should fund this particular agenda very well, so that all the talk about women equality or men equality should go together. They need funding and they need adequate laws and to ensure that all the regulations on GBV are adhered to.
The event was attended by various chiefs representing each of the 9 local governments present, expressing gladness about the implementation of certain bylaws and equally expressing challenges being faced with the hope of resolving such issues very soon.
Number one, there is a drastic reduction in underage sexual intercourse that most of the time, lead to unwanted pregnancy. We know teenager pregnancy are very common. And at the end of the day, you say, this you don't want, go and do this, go and do that. So with constant education and counseling and letting them know the implications, the social and long-term effects of what they are doing, this has reduced drastically. We are not saying it has been totally eliminated, but at least there is a drastic reduction of that. Then number two, we have needed to counseling against GBV. With constant counseling and education, we always let them know the implication of gender-based violence, be it against men or women. If you do this, this is the implication. By the time you go to what is it called, our road for 2-3 months, and you are unable to see your family for 2-3 months, you have been there alone, coming back home, and this you should come back to your rightful senses. So that has really made them to act in accordance with the rules and norms of the ground, of the land. Homicide or domestic violence has been reduced at home against opposite sex. Like my fellow Ashi has rightly said, the way the women beat us, so also we beat them at home. It goes vice versa. So let us not say it is the men alone that beat their wives. Psychologically, you don't do it to mentors. And physically, you don't do it to partners. So this has also reduced in most of our homes in the community. Then dialogue towards reconciliation among broken homes has helped to bring young couples together, thereby reduce domestic GBV. On this note, I want to especially appreciate FIDA. Most of the time, he let go of his personal job and invite people into his house, counsel them, talk to them, letting them know the implication of having broken homes, both at the long term and the short run. So this has actually reduced a lot of homicide evil perpetrator in our homes. And once again, I want to appreciate FIDA for that. He has always been doing that from time to time. Thank you very much. 5. Constant education on GBV has helped to reduce female genital mutilation. Female genital mutilation. Some of us, permit me to say this in our job. We always want to cut. But these days, we let them know the implication. It might result to a lot of diseases. All in the name of helping the innocent girl or girls that is just coming up. So this has reduced. Though we know some are still doing it privately, secretly, but it is not well pronounced, unlike the way it was in the past.
Blessing Okundola, reporting for Morganable Media. Thanks for watching us today and for joining us on our journey of enlightenment. Morganable, the vehicle of enlightenment.